I'm going to do a comparison between my two favorite earphones right now, and they are actually both single dynamic drivers. Now, the first is the new Tanchjim Origin. I have already done an extensive review on this set. And then the next is my very favorite earphone till now, and that is the NF ACOUS NM20. I will explain why the NF ACOUS is still my favorite, even though I love the Origin, and I will explain where the Origin is better than the ACOUS in this video. And you can decide on whether you want to get the two and pair them together, because if you get the two, you will have the best of both worlds, and you won't even, I will tell you now for free, you wouldn't even need any earphone for the next few years, literally, because they do a lot of things well if the two are together. So first of all, design wise, the Tanchim Origin is just a beauty. Like, there is no comparison in design. The Tanchim Origin is one of the best built earphone on the planet. It is, I'm just hitting it. It is just that it's rock hard. It's beautiful. And one thing I like about the Tanchim is that even though it's made out of a very, very high quality titanium aluminum shell, it is still very comfortable to wear. Like, all weekend I wore it, it gave me zero fatigue, especially with this easy ear tip that I always use. It is so comfortable. It doesn't even feel like I have a metallic heavy earphone in my ears. This is the heaviest earphone I've worn that is comfortable. Every time I wear a heavy earphone, it is always very uncomfortable, very unpleasant, and I get tired quickly. Now, the same can be said for the NF-Accus. The NF-Accus has always been very comfortable because it doesn't use titanium shells, it's just resin shells, and it's very light. Actually, it's the lightest earphone I think I've used till date. So I can wear the NF-Accus for several hours. I use it for my movies, and it is so easy to wear for several hours with zero fatigue. I don't even feel like I wore something after a few hours. So now, in terms of both of them, I am very, very impressed with their build quality. But although the Tanchim is way better in build quality, there is no comparison as to who beats each other on that front. So the next thing we have to now look at is what they do come with. If we are talking about accessories, easily it will be Tanchim. Tanchim has a better box, has the better cable. Now, if you can see this cable I'm using on the NF, because it's not even the original cable that came with it. I'm actually using a cable from Kiwi Ears, the Kiwi Ears Quartet. This is the Kiwi Ears Quartet cable that I have on it. It just brings this to life with bass. Everything is so warm and lively. So if someone is saying that, oh, the NF is a bit bright and too energetic, try using a pure copper cable, like this cable from Kiwi Ears. They sell it separately. You can buy it, and you'll be blown away by the sound quality. In fact, it's night and day. So now let's go to the main thing, which is sound quality. What's the difference between these two? Now, first of all, they are quite similar in tuning. Like, they are trying to give you a neutral presence, but there is now a major difference when you enter the bass region. Now, bass is incredible with the NF Accus. The NF Accus is not a bass headset. It's nowhere near that. But what it does well is because it has a beryllium driver inside. It's actually a beryllium coated driver. That beryllium coated driver is an advantage over the Tanchim Origin. So what it does is that whenever there is a bass hit, wherever it is, music, movies, gunshots, or anything, it rumbles. It feels like you're in a theater. But the Origin was never tuned to have rumbly bass. If you check the graph of the Origin doesn't have soft bass. So that is a major deficiency for the Origin. The Origin's lack of soft bass makes it very, very incapable to handle heavy-handed low frequencies that can make you feel like you're there, so that's, for me, I felt is a limiting factor that deprives the Origin from matching the performance of the NF Accus in some certain areas, like for movies and for gaming. And the soundstage as well from this NF ACOUS is a lot bigger than this. If you're watching a movie, you will tell them apart from each other immediately because there is the sense of space and presence that you get. But to be fair on the Origin, if you already have the standard nozzle on it, the soundstage is very similar to the NF ACOUS NM20. The only thing I would say is that because the NM20 already has bass, strong rumbly bass that can handle low end with immediate ease, whenever those presence in a scene is happening, it feels very lifelike, like you are there. So whenever I'm watching, in fact, I can easily now tell apart when I'm watching a movie with any in-ear monitor and the NF ACOUS. It is just that daunting. Like if you put the NF ACOUS and you play any soundtrack in a movie, you'll feel like in a theater. So I'm always benchmarking earphones against the NF ACOUS for movies. But now when we come to music, this is where it gets interesting. I normally wouldn't. Normally, if an earphone is already better than another earphone in major category like movies and gaming, it should really beat it out in music. But that's not the case. That's even the funny part. The Origin is better than the NF ACOUS in music. Like, it is crazy. And it's not because it has a bigger sound stage or being too revealing or too or any of that. No, it's just that it has more fuller body in the mid range because the strong suit of the Origin is the mid range. I think what the company was chasing after is like music producers, people that want a very lush mid range, and that is what they get with this set. Mid range is insane with this. Like you hear every detail, you hear uh everything you need to hear is all already there. Like this set is just great. It is just an amazing set. I absolutely recommend this Origin for music easily, hands down. There is no comparison in that respect. I love it for music. It is wonderful. Um, it's very in your face when you are playing your music. Like there is something about its resolution for music that sets it apart from any dynamic driver I've ever had. Like it's haunting. Like you feel like you're in the studio. It's powerful. It's very powerful. You can feel that you are listening to a flagship. The only downside I've had with this Origin, and I just felt that if there was a different driver, like a Beryllium driver in here, this would have been like the best dynamic driver earphone under $1,000 easily. It's that bass because the mid range is so good and the mid range is in your face, so you hear vocals so clearly. There's no muddiness, there's no overshadow. Like it's not overshadowed. You don't like lose detail. You hear people's vocals the way it should be presented. Male vocals, female vocals are presented very well. The NF ACOUS, on the other hand, now when you play music with a very good amplifier that I always use, one thing the NFIQs just lacks a bit is the full-bodied texture that the Origin gives. So the Origin has a very full sound, while this one tries to be very spacious. That's why it's so good for movies. It's very spacious and it's a bit lean, slightly lean in the mid-range, but very forward on the treble. So it's very detailed. You will hear a lot of shimmers, a lot of cymbals, but it could get fatiguing long term. So if you're someone that doesn't like bright, I think this is where people start having issue with the NF acoustics because it's that bright on the top end when you're listening to music tracks because it exposes all those frequencies to your ears quite easily. But with the right set of ear tips, it negates that. Now, if you see, I'm using the Dunu Audio CP100 ear tip here. So if you're using the Dunu CP100 here, you will be fine. It is the best ear tip I've tested on it. I didn't even use the easy ear tip. I found out that the Dunu CP100 is the best ear tip for the NF ACOUS NM20. So this is the best of both worlds. I was thinking that having the Origin, I could have a set now that can easily replace the NF ACOUS totally and just maybe relegate the NF ACOUS to the background. But I'm beginning to understand why the NF ACOUS is still till this date my favorite earphone since I got it last year. It's just the insane amount of presence it has for movies. Like its soundstage is incredible. Like you get impactful bass that rumbles. When there is a gunshot, it feels like someone shot you. It's just like you have movies theater speakers in your living room or in your dedicated theater. It gives you that presence. The only thing it lacks is that fullness that the Origin gives you from music. So the Origin is more musical, but this is much way better for movies and gaming. So having the two in your collection will just make you forget about really any other earphone on the market for the time being, because now I have these two sets. I don't really think there is much of a need for you to upgrade. Let's just be honest, because the ACOUS, if I'm not mistaken, is priced at $120, while this is 260. So you're looking at a total of 380. So for less than $400, you have two of the best dynamic drivers you can afford for less than $500. So you get these two sets, and you will be good for life, literally, at least for a really long time. I don't see you upgrading anytime soon. So this is my detailed comparison between these two earphones. These are my two favorite dynamic driver sets. I already have other sets like, you know, the Olinas, all the other sets, the Star ones. There are so many dynamic driver earphones that I have, but I decided there's no need to compare the Origin to all these sets because it beats them all. There's just no need to compare it against those sets. There's no need. The NF Acous and this are by far better than every other dynamic drivers I have in my collection currently, and I have more than a dozen. So why compare it to something that is a bit mediocre to their performance? These are the two that I feel that are the best. So you can go for either one of them. I love both of them, and they are now my daily driver. I use the Origin as my day-to-day driver, my podcast, my music, my commute. Then I still retain this for my movies permanently. It's just not even close. They are just both better than anything that you can go for now, at least in a reasonably priced market of dynamic drivers. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please share your thoughts down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Do like our content. I'll see you guys very much next time.